To have a conversation around this concerning the reshuffling of Nigeria's federal cabinet and how far-reaching the process could be is public affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you for joining us here on Newsday.
It's my pleasure.
All right.
Good afternoon.
All right, Mr. Ojo, let's get it started. Looking at how things have actually played out, it's been mixed reaction concerning this list for those that have been fired, for those that have actually been reassigned. But looking at it closely, what do you think the Tinubu administration, what message are they trying to send to people out there?
Thank you, Aaron. The message is that you either ship in or ship out. If you are not performing, Tinubu is not ready to reward or condone indolence or incompetence. So unlike the Buhari administration that in 8 years you can count the number of ministers that are sacked, to the best of my knowledge, he only sacked 2. Former Minister of Power and former Minister of Agriculture. In the 8 years of Buhari administration, once he appoints you, he just leaves you till the end of your tenure. Tinubu is not ready to work that way. So in actual sense, he has sacked 6 ministers now, 6, not 5, because you have to include Better Edu on that list. In as far as she was not reassigned and she was not renominated, so a suspension by what has happened yesterday has been converted to sack. So 6 ministers have been removed after 1 year. But I think it's still largely underwhelming, given the expectations of Nigerians. But I also do understand that if you want to be fair to these ministers, it is actually in this 2024 that effectively took charge of their ministries. Take for instance, 5 new ministries were established in August last year, and those ministries, there were no budgetary provisions for them, like Ministry of State Development, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Arts and Creative Economy, Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. They were not there when the 2023 budget was passed. So they have to struggle through the last 4 months of last year and until when 2024 budget was passed. But be that as it may, I think the president may have acted on the report of Adiza Bala Usman, who is in charge of his budgetary, in charge of his monitoring unit. So it's the prerogative of the president to do whatever he likes. More so, he's an executive president. But I want to also say that part of the reason why I believe this is underwhelming is the fact that if he has the strength of character and the political will to scrap Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Sports Development as well as Ministry of Niger Delta, he should have also had the strength of courage to sack or to scrap the Ministry of Police Affairs. Why did I say that? If you say that Ministry of Sports Development should revert to National Sports Commission, then the Ministry of Police Affairs should be reverted to Police Service Commission, because it is actually the constitutional provision that led to the creation of Police Service Commission. Just like, I don't even know whether the National Sport Commission is in the Constitution, but Police Service Commission is one of the federal executive bodies. So I think the budgetary provision being given to Ministry of Police Affairs should have actually been given to Police Service Commission, who is responsible for recruitment, promotion, discipline, and everything that has to do with Nigerian police, with the exception of the sacking of the Inspector General of Police. But on the good side, I think it's good that the nomination is coming with portfolios of the new nominees. So this will properly guide the National Assembly when particularly the Senate, when they are doing the screening, they will know whether these people who have been designated ministerial nominee against certain ministries, whether they have the competence to hold that office, or whether they will recommend to the president to look at possibility of putting them in charge of another ministry. The other point is that it's also good that this is coming before the laying of the 2025 budget, because that means that from yesterday now, the Minister of Budget and National Planning will have to work assiduously to reflect these changes in the draft budget for 2025. Because now we have a new Minister of Livestock Development, we have the budgets that they may have put aside for Minister of Tourism, now we have to go to Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy. And then also the Ministry of Sports Development is no longer there. So they have to look at how to move whatever budgetary allocation that has already been prepared for that ministry, how they can move it to National Sport Commission. But on the whole, we need to understand that this is a prerogative of Mr. President, being an executive president as it were.
All right, Mr. Ojo, very salient points that you've outlined for us. And but some that stood out to me was when you commented on the underwhelming nature of this, given the expectations of Nigerians, based on what you said about the what should have happened with the Ministry of Police Affairs, and also what you commented about regarding the timing, saying that it precedes the laying of the national budget for 2025. But I'd like to ask you about impact. Beyond the obvious changes in portfolios, what substantive impact can this reshuffle actually have on governance at this crucial time?
Okay, so Cynthia, if you are asking me to play the role of Nostradamus, the man who saw tomorrow, I would say they have their work cut out for them. And I actually don't envy this new ministerial nominee. I don't envy them because uneasy lies there that wears the crown. And they are coming at a critical time that Nigerians have lost confidence, and the approval rating of President Tinubu is at the lowest ebb. You could see people calling him T-Pain or Tinubulation and all of those names, those monikers. So they need to work assiduously to restore people's confidence in this administration, particularly in the attainment of the renewed hope agenda, the 8-point renewed hope agenda. Whether they will perform or not depends on how well resourced they are. Because you can't make a brick without straw, and neither can you make an omelette without breaking an egg. If you are not well resourced, if you don't have the financial muscle to do what you are asked to do, no matter the KPIs that you set for these new ministers and the old ones, no matter the key performance indicators you may set for them, they will fall short. If they need 100 billion to do a work and you are giving them 20 billion, how do you want them to make up for the shortfall? So they need to be well resourced in terms of funds, in terms of personnel, in terms of environment. The work environment must be suitable for people to perform optimally. So a lot depends on how well resourced these people are for us to have a fair judgment on their performance in another 1 year. Otherwise, I think all of them on the surface of it, they are very competent. They have the literacy qualification. Many of them are technocrats. At least we have some of them doctors, professors, baristas, professionals in their own right. But if the enabling environment is not there, there is little or nothing you can do. Suffice to say also, the point I think Tinubu is trying to make is that don't cut unnecessary controversy for his government. I think part of the reason why Professor Tahir was removed as Minister of Education, as well as the Minister of State was redeployed, was because of the needless controversy about the age limitation for you to enter university, which was an old archaic law or policy of over 40 years that you are trying to implement in 2024. And then you look at Mrs. Barrister Uju Ohane Kennedy. She was unduly combative with civil society, and in fact, many gender-focused civil society organizations does not like or appreciate her sense of direction as the Minister of Women Affairs. So the other point I think the president was trying to make is to have an expanded government of national unity. Look at the fact that he decided to appoint the widow of late Chukwuemeka Odimegwu Ojukwu as Bianca, who we know to be a chieftain of All Progressive Grand Alliance. And that's olive branch to the opposition party. Just the same way he has appointed Nyesom Wike as Minister of FCT from PDP, and appointed the Mr. Adebayo Adelabu Penkelemes from Accord Party before he defected back to APC.
All right, I want to say many thanks to you, Mr.
I
Jide
think that's
Ojukwu.
also the point
It's
that
unfortunate
the
we've run out
president
of
is
time.
making.
I want to say thank you very much for joining us here on Newsday.